Alright, let's talk about Apple's latest M4 iPad Pro. Specifically, my 11-inch iPad Pro that I upgraded from the M1. That's right, the one that's dangerously thin and suspiciously powerful. When I first got it, I thought, this thing is way too overpowered. But the software, it kind of felt like running a marathon with flip-flops. It was very limited. But then, fast forward to today, now we have access to iPadOS 26. Man, is it a game changer. And aside from the aesthetic side of things, this latest generation of iPadOS is extremely revolutionary, as it no longer limits the iPad feeling like as if it was nerfed. Now, that's not there. As now it feels like it just wants to strongly replace my MacBook. And for the first time, I'm actually not laughing at that idea. It's a high possibility it can. So here's the thing, Apple finally gave us an M4 chip on an iPad. Literally the desktop chipset inside this ultra thin tablet. You got a 10-core CPU, a 10-core GPU, a 16-core neural engine, ray tracing support, and what did we used to previously use it for? Well, split screen with third-party apps, and one floating awkward one in the middle. And don't get me wrong, back then it was still a beautiful, very responsive, powerful device, but it was hard to recommend to people, which is why you didn't see me do a review last year. But now it can do so much more. So let's talk about the display technology real quick. So I personally use the 11-inch model, but there is also a larger 13-inch. All personal preference. The personal reason why I didn't go with the 13-inch model, went with the 11th, is due to the fact that 11-inch actually received some amazing benefits. It's no longer limited in display technology as it shares the same display options as the larger 13-inch, which means this is indeed an OLED as well. You got the new Ultra Retina XDR display with the tandem OLED, 1000 nits of full screen HDR brightness. It can reach a peak up to 1600 peak nits, full DCI P3 color accuracy at 120 Hz. To put it simply, this is by far Apple's best screen that they ever put on an 11-inch iPad. Everything just pops. Photos, HDR content, UI animations. The blacks are finally blacks like proper home cinema OLED TVs. This display is absolutely amazing when it comes to creating content, viewing content. It's the best of both worlds. I sometimes use it as a separate monitor, thanks to this USB capture card. And thanks to iPadOS 26, I finally have Mac features in this thing, as I could finally color coordinate my folders. I could click and drag a lot easier, as well as put stuff on my toolbar if I absolutely want to. It finally gave us the ability to actually float or overlay windows. We finally have Mac-style window shortcuts. We have a customizable control center that could do more than just simply control the iPad. It could control automations around your household, vehicles even, as there is third-party support. And a snappier and richer spotlight search with rich previews and more intelligence for multitasking. This thing is truly finally enjoyable for work. As this is my main device, I typically will use to edit YouTube shorts, where I'm able to simply click and drag files from my photo library to editing programs, as well as thumbnail program softwares too, like Procreate, what I typically use. This freestyle click and drag, create floating windows left and right definitely does allow me to multitask a lot more efficiently, like I would on a proper desktop. As the M4 chip doesn't flinch at all. And that's the beauty here. iPadOS 26 finally catches up to the horsepower. And I know people have a lot of questions about this iPad. Like, the most asked questions I typically would get asked, did I notice a significant difference from the M1 to the M4? And my short, honest answer is no, not really. When it comes to heavy workload, yeah, it is like milliseconds faster or a second too faster, but nothing crazy out of the ordinary where I'll notice like a massive increase. The M1 was already powerful enough on the iPad Pro. But to better future-proof yourself, especially with AI, the M4 is definitely a much needed upgrade now. And then if you were to ask me, is the OLED display really much better than the mini LED? Yes, hands down. OLED display is significantly better. Technology is a lot better as well, to the point where you don't have to worry about the burn-in effect. The contrast, the clarity, and the ghosting are noticeably improved on an OLED iPad. And I like the fact that the 11-inch, even the smaller display, still gets the same amount of love like the 13-inch did in terms of its technology. Additionally, is the Magic Keyboard worth it? Short answer, yes. The aluminum texture that the top portion is made out of definitely does feel much more premium than the previous generation Magic Keyboard. And the fact that it supports backlight, it definitely does allow this machine to feel more like a premium MacBook. So this is where things get interesting. With iPadOS 26, combo with a Magic Keyboard, definitely does show that Apple is heading towards the right direction. It's just a matter of time. When? Because as of right now, definitely does seem like this can easily replace my Mac computer in certain places. But it's still not there quite yet. Hopefully, the next version of iPadOS will resolve these issues by allowing this machine to finally run full desktop applications. That's what we need right here. Now, when it comes to battery life, this thing could easily last me all day, no problem. But if I do need to charge it, it does quickly charge back up. Now, if we actually take the second real quick and go into my storage, go into my battery settings, and after owning this iPad for a whole year, my battery health percentage is still at 100% capacity. That just shows how reliable the battery is on the iPad Pro versus an iPhone. And the overall build quality still remains the same shape, no bends, no marks or anything like that. It's built like a tank, even though it's extremely thin, which is why you don't see an unbox therapy video of him trying to forcefully bend this easily. It does have some resistance. So, who is the iPad Pro M4 for? Well, creators, college students, mobile professionals, or anybody who wants a MacBook experience without having to travel with their Macs, which is why I personally picked up the 11-inch version. It's compact, it's powerful, and with iPadOS 26, and once you're done working, you could use this as a nice little entertainment screen. So if you already own an M4 iPad Pro, next week or so, the public beta will be available for iPadOS 26. It should be more stable than ever before, but the official version will be released sometime during the fall, which, based off my experience, definitely did give my iPad a whole new life. And then if you've been waiting to upgrading your iPad Pro, the M4 is definitely the version you've been waiting for. Bottom line, Apple finally made the software to match the hardware, as the iPad Pro M4 isn't just the most powerful iPad ever, but now is definitely a serious alternative for a MacBook to the right user. So have you ever said, I wish the iPad could just do more? Well, this year it does that. So there you guys have it. Just wanted to do a quick follow-up on what I think about the current generation M4 iPad Pro. After my nearly 1 year of ownership with it, seeing it start and evolving into this powerful machine. So let me know in the comment section if you're planning on buying one, or if you currently own one and you happen to be on iPadOS 26 developer beta or the public beta by the time you're watching this video. Let me know in the comment section, how has this new multitask ability been benefiting you lately? Quite curious to see how everybody else uses their iPad Pro. If you wish to watch more, I definitely recommend checking out this video over there where I highlight all the cool changes and new features that's coming out to Apple CarPlay on iOS 26. I cover everything from A to Z that most people overlook. Thank you so much for watching.